All right, welcome, fellow TFFL owners. It is packed bowl week here in the TFFL. Wednesday, December 17th. Just one game left now in our 2014 TFFL season. One game left for us to talk about. Lots on the line. We got the Lizards. We got the Giant Killers. Packed Bowl 21. We're going to be talking all about it here tonight. I'm joined, as always, by Hank, by our commissioner. Where'd our commissioner go?
He just left.
He just left.
All right. Well, he's kind of tricky to get back on the call. Should we start fresh?
No, here he comes.
All right. Good.
We got him back.
Okay.
There he is.
All right. So I am indeed joined by our commissioner chief. Welcome back, Chief. By Berto, our defending champs, the Giant Killers, and by our special guest tonight, literally facing off with Berto, Rich, King of the Lizards. Welcome to the webcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And happy Hanukkah.
Thank you very much. Second day. Kids are already excited about their gifts.
Nice. Okay, so we got some gifts, or a gift last week. In our semifinals, an instant TFFL Classic. Lizards hanging on, beating the Devils 54-51, right?
That is correct.
Rich, you surely must have thought at some point you were going to end up losing that game.
Right about Drew Brees' third touchdown was when I said that happened too early, and this doesn't look good.
Well, congratulations. First time back in the Pac Bowl since 1998.
It's been a long time coming.
The Giant Killers are defending champs again, advancing, looking to repeat with a much more convincing win over the Hormel Hams in the semifinals. Strong performance, Berto. See if you can carry that forward one more week.
One more week.
Okay, real quick. You guys wanted a trivia question.
Yes.
I don't have a Packed Bowl themed trivia question, since Rich already knew what year he was last in the Packed Bowl. Hank knew that one as well. But let's talk about the franchise that has the most conference titles, with 6 of them. I'll give you the answer later in the show. Okay, let's get to our Pac Bowl preview. Again, the Killers defending their crown. Lizards back here for the first time in 16 years.
Over a decade, man, almost 2.
So two different franchises in terms of their familiarity with this game. We got no home field advantage points, right? No home field advantage points in the Pac Bowl. Looking at the lineups, and we're going to talk a lot about who these guys have in the lineups. The Giant Killers are going to have their Bengals, Berto's Bengals, in action on Monday night. So hopefully we'll all extend our season to the very last minute once again, like we did last year. Okay, I've got some questions specifically for our Pac Bowl combatants, but let's first try to engage our panelists here a little bit. Chief Hank, take a look at the lineups here with me. And tell us what you see, who you like, maybe even a specific score.
Well, it's as you said, with the Bengals for Berto, it's Jeremy Hill last week was a monster, and if he does that again, I mean you can't count on the Bengals defense getting you points again, but hey, the Bengals are playing well. Berkman needs Luck and Hilton to do something, if this game gets up there. And Berto's just been showing he can score a lot of points, and 54 points from Berkman probably is not going to win this week. So, they're going to have to find some points, hopefully out of the running game for them, which they haven't, Trey Mason put up, nothing last week, and Asiata and Gerhardt, that's tough. So that Luck and Hilton have got to connect.
Chief, I'm looking for you and Hank to give us a prediction, a score. Hank, did you have a score in mind?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be very candid. I'm totally cheering for the Lizards, and I want them to win. And I really hope they can. And they're gonna need something. They're gonna need something out of their running backs, and they're gonna need Berto probably to not have his best game. And so I'll call it like Lizards 73, Killers 68.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree in the analysis. Um, and I think once you get outside of Hoboken, that everyone's rooting for the Lizards in this one.
I'll take it.
It's just the way things work. But I kind of like the Giant Killers to squeak through this one. You have Romo and Luck, and I believe they're playing head to head.
It's true. Have we had that happen in a pack bowl? That would be a good trivia question.
Yes.
So I think that favors Romo a little bit going against the Indy defense versus Luck going against the Dallas defense. Though not a whole lot, but I think that could be enough. When you look at those Patriots-Jet games, they're historically very low-scoring affairs. I think the Gostkowski factor is going to be limited. Of course, Dawson hasn't been doing much either. I think it's going to be really close. I like Phil's score, but I'm going to switch it around and go 73-68 Giant Killers.
Ooh.
All right, let me walk everybody through how we got here by talking to Rich and Berto a little bit about some of the moves. Rich, we haven't had you on the webcast all year, so let me start with you. This might be a little bit of a mini eye on the TFFL interview. Let's start by talking Lizards receivers.
Yeah.
That I think is the strength of your team beyond Andrew Luck, obviously, at this point. Take us through the Mike Evans, Sammy Watkins decision that we've talked a lot about this year. Both look like great players, but Evans has really stepped up in the last 7 weeks. He's got touchdowns in 6 of the last 7 weeks. How hard was it to turn your back on Watkins?
Yeah, that's a great question. And first, it's amazing how, if you look back at the Lizards just a year ago, you'd look at us and go, wow, the strength of this team is their running backs. And it's quite the opposite just 1 year later. But specifically to your question, it wasn't hard to turn on Sammy Watkins, knowing my own Buffalo Bills. I think that I've proven with Marshawn Lynch in previous drafts that I wasn't after the hometown guy. After the guy that I thought would improve my team the most. And when I looked at the options out there, and I saw, Sammy Watkins was an obvious choice, but at the same time, I looked at Mike Evans. I looked at his size as being a touchdown machine, where a red zone target, big guy, fast, can make all the plays you want him to make, to score touchdowns, which is what our league is based on. Where Sammy Watkins, he is going to get a lot of short passes that he makes plays on to take to the end zone, and I'm sure he'll make them. I wasn't that confident in E.J. Manuel, which obviously neither were the Bills, coming in, and I thought that would hamper my chances to produce this year, where I thought McGowan and Evans, that they had a better shot at putting up more points for me this year now. And when I looked at it long term, and choosing that with your number 1 pick, I said Evans will have almost the same potential as Watkins long term. So I felt good making that pick.
Part of what I'm hearing is that if we were a PPR league, you might have gone a different direction.
Yeah, I might have. I may have.
Okay, I've got to ask the Odell Beckham question.
Yep.
And sure, you're going to the Packed Bowl, so things haven't turned out too bad for you. But the decision to put Odell Beckham on IR very early in the season has got to be haunting you at least a little bit. The guy has almost 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns in 10 games, instant stud, hasn't scored a single point for the Lizards, and won't.
Yeah, and I picked him up in the 6th round. I had him targeted. He was on my watch list of guys that I thought would be great if I can get him at a certain point. And the 6th round came around, he was sitting there. I knew he was injured at the time. But from just researching Evans and Watkins, Odell Beckham sort of stood up to me. popped out, and I said, wow, it would be great to get that guy too. And getting him in the 6th was great. When it came to the point where AP had his situation, I didn't have a lot of choice because I couldn't put anybody on IR to get Asiata, and I was really worried about not having any running back there. Now I own every friggin' Minnesota running back there is, future, past, and present, and the chips fall where they do. But I had to get Asiata, and it's somebody like Ralph has done this to me in the past. He did it this year to others. He would grab somebody like that and try to trade him back to me, which we had all that controversy around. But that's how I look at things. People would go after that to make that type of trade, and I needed to get him to have a guy that I could be confident in starting, not knowing how long it would take for McKinnon to come into play. Which turned out okay because McKinnon got hurt. Now I have Asiata, and who knows what Ben Tate will turn out to.
Hey, sticking with your receivers, but getting back to the Pac Bowl a little bit. How is T.Y. Hilton's hammy?
Negative on the CT scan, so he's good. I think it's probably day-to-day, but he practiced today. I expect him on the field Sunday.
Actually, he didn't practice today.
Yeah.
I thought he did show up today.
Wow.
I expect him on the field on Sunday.
All right. I think that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on.
I think you should bench him. That's just me.
I can completely understand your point of view.
Hey, let's shift over to your running backs real quick. Kind of fitting that Ben Tate promptly got cut by the Browns right after being traded to the Lizards. It's been that kind of a season. I mean, literally, guys are vanishing. And Adrian Peterson gone. Zach Stacy, totally blows up, disappears entirely. I don't even know if he's getting carries anymore. I see you've got Gerhardt in your starting lineup this week.
Pretty surprising, huh? Could that come back to help me where I need it the most?
We will see. We will see. I'm not sure I've got a question here, but it's really quite remarkable. We were talking about the Lizards. I think inside the TFFL said early on that you were going to be the division favorite this year on the strength of your running backs.
Amazing. Right?
Yeah.
I came in saving 4 running backs. I kept 4 running backs.
Yeah. Hey, let's shift over to the Giant Killers real quick.
And none are starting for you.
Yeah, of those 4 running backs, how many are playing in the Pac Bowl?
Is that amazing? Is it Toby Gerhardt? 1. Right now, 1. But I just do want to point out one thing, which was I always thought Zach Stacy was a good player, but with the mix they had there, and seeing what Trey Mason was in college, I don't remember what round I got Trey Mason in, but it was later. And that 5th round, is that what I got him?
Yeah, you got him and Beckham with back-to-back picks.
Back-to-back picks. It's amazing how something like that in those middle rounds could really change for the positive in terms of the impact those two have had, on fantasy in general. Beckham's not impacting me at the moment, but Trey Mason, without him, I don't beat Phil.
Yep, that was a big game. Okay, Berto, let's talk to the Giant Killers here real quick.
Sure.
Sticking with the running back theme. Jeremy Hill, big pickup for the Giant Killers at number 5 overall, I believe, this year. Has been both a short-term guy, a lot of big contributions recently. Obviously, a long-term guy as well. Some new blood at running back for you to build around. Was he the guy you were targeting when you traded up into the number 5 spot?
No. So I honestly didn't have a target at that point, but I just wanted to move up, and I wanted to get in the first 5 picks. So I figured that's where I could get somebody, potentially Watkins, potentially Mike Evans. So Hill was not the initial target when I made that trade, so that came after.
You have a history of trading into the top 5.
Yep.
Arian Foster, obviously, at number 3, and then you had a big bust at number 4. Was that J.J. Arrington?
That wasn't a trade, I don't think. David Wilson I traded up to get David Wilson, which I then traded, which was part of the Lynch deal.
Right. So, and I suspect you'll probably be trying to make a move again coming up. But
yeah, I think the thought process there was, and I've talked about this before, round 1A versus round 1B. So I went into this season thinking I'm going to be in the back half of the draft next year. Let me move up. Let me get a year earlier and get a better pick in the draft this year than I think I would have gotten next year. And let me start the rebuilding a little bit earlier, and let's snag a running back earlier, or a Mike Evans or a Sammy Watkins at the time.
Looks like that's really working out for you. So well done. Okay, let me talk about expectations a little bit. And Berto, as the defending champs, I'm sure you came into this year, despite having the K-Wheels in your division, looking pretty strong there. I'm sure you came in thinking you're a Pac Bowl contender. So, Bork, let me turn back to you. Did you genuinely believe that you had a Pac Bowl contender on your hands when the season started?
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Beginning of the year when we took pictures of the draft board, and after the draft I looked at my team and I felt it was very strong. I didn't expect what happened with the running backs to happen. But yeah, no, I expected to compete for the Pac Bowl.
All right. Okay, both of you. I want you to look back on the year. I want you to tell me the most important move you've made, whether that be a draft pick, a trade, or a free agent signing.
Well, I think for me it is. I mean, Hill is up there, but I don't think that's probably not the most important thing. I think it's Romo, the Romo deal. So Romo's been solid. Won me a Pac Bowl last year. He's been very solid down the stretch here. So I think that's the move for me. I also think the other thing that's been key, which didn't happen actually in last year's run, was avoiding the big injury. I mean, yes, Marshall has gotten hurt late, but last year I made a run with essentially without Foster and Gronk. So to have those two guys back this year is huge. So, you know, I've avoided the big injury up until, you know, week 13 or whatever it was that Marshall went out. So to me, that's been the big thing. You know, we've talked about the trading, and I know that was controversial last week, the discussion with Bill. But, you know, I couldn't make a trade. I would have loved to make a big trade. So I can't really say that, you know, anything I did this year in terms of trades, except for Hill, has helped.
Well, and that's what I was really looking for, is something you did this year to propel your team. And yeah, you were hamstrung with making a trade. Being a very good team, you were picking at the end of the free agent order every week. So really, yeah, you had to go get somebody in the draft.
Yeah, you know, Brandon Oliver was a good pickup. He had a couple good games, but you know, marginal now. But I also think I had a very good draft this year. So
and Rob Gronkowski stayed healthy.
And that's what we were just saying. I avoided the big injuries this year.
Rich?
Probably drafting Steven Gostkowski. That has to be it. I'm going to keep him next year, I think.
Keep the kicker. Do that.
Nice. Do it. Do it again.
No, I think hindsight's 20/20. So more recently, that trade for Wallace makes all the difference in the world right now, because without that trade, I'm not here. And having him start, and Chief will tell you, I almost didn't start him. I was floundering right back and forth at the end there, and literally called Nick and was like, "Hey, I just keep it as, you know, it is what it is. I tried to change something, but I'm happy keeping what it is, so it is what it is."
Yeah, that's a good story.
I almost changed out Wallace for Garcon, didn't, and that made all the difference on that. You know, you talk about game of inches with fantasy and the rest of it. Hank and Nick both know from creeping up on me. But that Wallace move to get him, I don't really, you know, didn't need Roethlisberger. I have all the confidence in Luck that he was going to, you know, be healthy and continue to play. Happy getting Alex Smith, but I really needed another receiver I can count on week to week. And while Wallace isn't necessarily the strongest, he's in the top 20, and I feel confident putting him in there with high odds. So
Yeah.
that was a big move in the trade to help me there. You know, if I look beyond that, without that, I would look back and say Mike Evans. Drafting him where I did and what he's produced and how he's produced up the stretch, I think we have like 6-7 game winning streak in a row right now, and that's not necessarily an easy task with the folks who were playing. So a little luck and making a few of the right moves, some of the wrong moves, but holding on has got us here.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that the Pac Bowl running backs would be Toby Gerhart, Matt Asiata, and Trey Mason? You could never predict that.
Well, Mike Javenko had the same kind of lineup about 2 years ago, where it was like a Jack Quiz Rogers, Michael LaShore, and somebody else. But,
I have to get my pen. I'll be right back.
Just a quick comment to what Richie was talking about.
Our guest
Sunday.
This before.
Sunday I got home from church, and so Sunday I got home from church, got kind of late, so I just ran the house to get changed to go to the bar to watch some football. And the 5 usually do, I missed 4 emails and a call from Richie, frantically trying to swap out Mike Wallace for Pierre Garçon.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he's trying to reach me. It's like, well, I don't know. I think I missed the deadline. I don't know. Can I do it? Can I not do it? And the last one was, you know what? I talked to Nick. I got it worked out. Ignore the rest of it. So I mean, if I happen to bring my phone in the house with me, they have 5 minutes. You know, it might be Nick Martinelli playing for a Pac Bowl.
You're absolutely right.
That's fate, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that just shows you the destiny I'm on, Berto.
No, it ends here. The evil empire is taking.
It's a year of destiny for the Lizards.
The evil empire. Everyone's rooting against me as usual.
Well, you've won
You're knocking
before.
your ass out.
Yeah, you're easy to root against, Berto. You know.
You've won recently, and the Lizards haven't been there in 16 years. We're coming in with a Scotch tape and rubber band team. We're clearly the underdogs, and we're gonna have to put up a good game. I think you know what it's gonna take from the Lizards. You've all called it out. You know, it's gonna take luck to Hilton. It's gonna take a big game from Luck. It's gonna require Evans to do what he's been doing, and then some contribution from somebody else. And a normal game out of Gostkowski for me to do anything here.
The Lizards, by the way, are currently a 16-point favorite on the com.com site.
That must be because Berto hasn't fixed his lineup.
No,
The lineup's pretty fixed.
it looks pretty fixed to me. It looks pretty good. Anquan Bolden for real? Anquan Bolden.
There's no magic bullets.
Hey, I haven't, and believe it or not, I mean, I haven't necessarily finished tinkering with mine. Asiata may not stay in.
Well, let me jump in real quick, Rich, because that's my next question. What is the biggest lineup decision both of you are wrestling with right now? Take us inside your headquarters.
Go ahead, Berta.
Well, Stick, you know mine. We've emailed back and forth about this. So with Marshall out, I have 4 receivers that I need to pick 2 of. So Bolden, Decker, Sanu, and Williams. Which 2? So last week I picked the right 2. Actually, it didn't matter too much, but Decker was certainly one of the right selections. I don't know what to do this week, so I'm still figuring that out.
Decker against Patriots is tough.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good options. You know, Sanu hasn't done anything. Terrence Williams has been invisible with Beasley there. He's taken all of his targets. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I think Bolden will definitely be in, but then it's between the other 3 guys. So it's probably going to come down to Sanu and Decker.
Who's in right
now? Right now, Decker is in there, but it could very easily switch to Sanu, which would be nice Monday night. Another chip on Monday night.
Your Bengals?
Make it 3 in a row for me. I've had to watch Monday night 2 weeks in a row now. It would be 3. It will be 3 because you'll have Jeremy Hill and Cincinnati D anyway. So that's been good to me. So I welcome it with open arms.
Okay, hey, let me tell you what I see in this game real quick, and then I'll turn it over to Hank and Chief for any questions they may have for our Pac-12 teams.
Did you not want me to answer the question?
Hey, keep going, Rich. I'm sorry.
You didn't ask. I didn't answer the question that you asked around the hardest lineup.
You started talking about Asiata. Go ahead.
So I think that's probably it for me. Is do I start Asiata and or Gerhardt? I'm actually feeling good about Gerhardt this week with Denard Robinson done for the year. They don't really have a lot to turn to. Not that their running game is great, but they're playing Tennessee. And if there's something I've learned over the years, you've got to try to exploit matchups. Every time I've ever gone against just playing the guy that you think is great versus looking at the matchup, I failed. And so the matchup looks pretty good for Gerhardt, so I feel good about him being there.
Yeah.
Which is amazing considering he hasn't really started for me all year, but he shows up in the Pac-12, right?
That is one thing. I'm sorry, Rich. Keep going.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say my lineup, my matchups this week versus last week are not nearly as good. And then I look at Toby Gerhardt going against Tennessee. Mike Evans in Green Bay. I don't like my matchups, and I think Rich has some good matchups. So
yeah, I think you have some tough.
That does concern me.
Yeah, I think you have a little tougher. When I looked at who you were playing against, I saw, even Lynch has a decently tough matchup. Arian Foster has a tough matchup. He also has no quarterback now, so they have to deal with a new quarterback, which may mean they'll run more, but we'll see what that means if the defense doesn't focus in on the run and try to prove them to pass, and that may make Foster struggle a bit.
It's all those little ancillary stories, right? So even Dallas, they may not have DeMarco Murray. So what happens there? Does that hurt Romo?
Does it hurt?
You mentioned Houston not having a quarterback. They're going against Baltimore tough.
Yep.
Even the Cincinnati game, Jeremy Hill could be a non-factor. Denver goes up big.
That's right. The one thing
even my kicker that I traded up for in Dawson. At one point last week, San Francisco is shell offensively of what they were.
Yeah, I almost think that San Francisco is partially checked out.
Oh yeah.
I think totally checked out.
Yeah, maybe totally checked out.
Yeah.
So when I looked at it too, Berto, I mean, yeah, just frankly speaking, I felt my matchups looked pretty good, which I was only crossing my fingers and hoping for. And I disagree with Chief. I think that Luck is a better quarterback than Romo going head-to-head. I think that the Indy D can take care of Romo fairly well. I mean, Des Bryant being the one guy had an amazing week last week that he can hit. Terrence Williams is pretty good too, but I think that Luck has more options. I think that he could have a better game than Romo.
If T.Y. Hilton doesn't play, that's huge, and I should be favored.
Yeah, I agree. If T.Y. Hilton doesn't play, I'm put at a disadvantage for sure. He has been a stud for me. Generally, every game isn't great, but most fantasy players' weeks aren't great, including, as Phil learned, Peyton Manning. It happens. So we need T.Y. We need him. We have some other options. Wright he has a broken hand on top of things. He may not play. The safest bet for me to put in outside of him may be Heath Miller this week.
Richie, you have a lava lamp next to you or something?
A lava lamp.
Your whole room glows different colors.
No, it's just it's the television on the other side.
Uh-huh.
I see you in red and then purple and then brown.
He's got a glow about him since he's in the Pac Bowl.
Right.
It's an aura of the Pac Bowl. There you
Rich,
go.
I'm sorry to have skipped ahead on you there.
No problem. I just thought maybe you want to answer the question.
No, I have short-term memory issues, as you know.
Don't we all?
So yeah, let me give you my quick take, and you guys sort of touched on it real quick there. I'm not necessarily rooting for the Blizzards, or maybe I am, but I do see
All right, Stick. You can say it.
I do see a Blizzards upset here. I'm going to predict it, not just root for it. And the two things I'm looking at are Lynch and Foster, the matchups they've got. Lynch against Arizona, the Baltimore defense against Foster with the quarterback issues. The other thing I want to watch, and it'll be really interesting to see if the Pac Bowl comes down to Steven Gostkowski, who Rich, stole from Berto, what, three rounds early. That might
It's unheard of.
to be brilliant. So I want to see, or maybe Dawson outplays him. We'll see, but I'm looking at that. I got the Lizards winning this one by 5.
No score, just by 5.
Oh, let's call it 72-67.
That was what I said. I said 73-68 is what I said.
Yeah.
All right, Hank, Chief, any questions for our...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know so much of a question. I mean, congratulations to you guys. I hope you soak it in all week. Berto, even you. Relax and enjoy the fact that you're in this game, and I hope you appreciate it. I think it comes down to whether Berto gets the big games out of his running backs. If Lynch and Foster, go off like they can, that's a good indicator. I honestly think Luck and Romo will probably cancel each other out, and it comes down to Richie's receivers and Berto's running backs, and let's see what happens. Exciting stuff. It's close matchup. I would not be surprised that if it went either way. But I'm on record that I'm cheering for the Lizards.
Thank you. We'll take all the support we can get.
Roberto, are you predicting a tie this week?
No tie.
Are we going into reserves?
We are not going into reserves.
Reserve lineups.
Get your reserve.
I'll save my prediction for a moment.
All right. Well, good luck to you both. Congratulations on getting this far.
Thank you. After 16 years, we certainly don't take being here for granted. Literally every day, my kids could tell you I come home and say, We're in the final game. We're in the Pac Bowl.
It's the talk of the household. That's all we're talking about here.
It is. I'm running a 4-day workshop at IBM this week, and I came in on Tuesday and I told everybody that I was in. 55 people in the audience. I said, "There's one important fact I need to share with all of you right now," and it's that I am in my 20+ odd year fantasy league, and I am in the final game. It's been a long time since I've been there, and we couldn't be more excited. So this week's going to be awesome. You're going to have me on a high all week, so we're going to have a great week. And,
so I'm going to double down on Berto now because the Lizards are just happy to be here.
Not even close. We're happy to be here. It's been a long time coming, but we're not done.
No, so we're going to beat you, and you can return back to the Pac Bowl when you're 60 in another 16 years.
Wow.
Not a chance. I think with Odell Beckham and AP coming back next year, this team is only getting stronger.
Well, and what's great about this league is it's exciting for you guys, but we're all watching and chatting about it at the same time as a league. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll all be watching. We'll all be commenting. Guys, I'm not sure what your Christmas weeks are like, but maybe we can plan on putting a bow on the TFFL season. Maybe a short webcast next week.
I'll be on Wednesday.
Wednesday is the 23rd?
Christmas Eve.
Oh, it's Christmas Eve. I'll be down at my brother's house.
We can do it maybe Tuesday or just Have it after Christmas.
Yeah,
Gotta be Tuesday if we're gonna do it before the weekend.
Yeah.
let's talk.
There
Let's
it
do it on Tuesday.
There it is.
There's the ball, by the way, again.
Coming to my house. Next time you see
No, he's
that,
got a permanent home here.
next time it'll be from my screen.
Mm.
All right.
I'm jealous.
All right. Well, good luck to you both, and we'll be back next week, maybe on Tuesday for a quick one to wrap things up. Reminder to everybody: we'll have the Party Bowl coming up the weekend after this. So during Christmas week, who are our conference presidents these days, Chief?
The last two commissioners, Berto and Kramer.
All right. Oh, our Hoboken guys. So you guys are going to have to take the lead on getting the lineups in order for the Party Bowl. That'll be a little bit of a challenge during Christmas week. But
We'll do it. It always gets done.
Yep. All right. Good luck, guys.
Laser focus on the Pac Bowl right now, though. A lot of scouting.
Yeah, I'm psyched that everyone is so excited to just watch the game, as I have for past years. So,
All right.
good stuff.
That's a great point, though, because everyone's been on the chat. The games have been exciting, with the exception of the Killers Hams. All the other games, everything else has been fantastic.
It's amazing how even of a season it was when you look back at the records and the opportunity to make the playoffs for so many teams. It really was quite a unique season.
Always goes by so fast.
It really does.
All right.
It sucks being out.
I know that feeling, and yes, it does.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, Rich, you've held off the Monday night barrage, but I'm excited that I have Lynch Sunday night, and then I close with Cincy on Monday night.
Yeah, that's how it was for me last week with the Eagles on Sunday night. And then
So
Monday night.
we got to keep it under 20 going into Sunday night.
Right. Well, yeah. We'll see. I, as you heard me say at the start of the webcast, I thought after that Breeze, or I don't know if that was pre-conversation, but I thought after that third touchdown by Breeze, I was cooked.
I thought you were done.
And it
And
didn't.
I said so
And
on the chat.
football's a funny game, so it was interesting and thrilled that I ended up maintaining the lead by 3. So
The ideal situation would have been the Devils and Breeze catches the flu this weekend.
Right.
But that didn't happen.
all right, well, I look forward to seeing you on the field starting tomorrow night, and it's going to be a fun weekend.
Good luck.
All right. Good luck, Lizards. Good luck, Giant Killers. See you guys next week. Take care.
Take care, guys.
All right.